Okay, so we're hot on the audio now. All right, so I am going to make this one pretty quick and to the point. So, what's wrong here? Hold on. Something went wrong on the audio here. Let me restart this. Okay, check two. Hey, check. Okay, we're doing good now. Okay, all right. Something went wrong on the audio real quick. I had to restart it. Sorry. Okay, so there is a lot of controversy going on right now concerning a very popular winter song, not necessarily a Christmas song. It's not a Christmas song, it's a winter song. But there's a lot of controversy surrounding it. What's up, Smitty? Anyway, what's going on with this thing is that a lot of people are applying a modern viewpoint to a vintage song. Sweet. Yeah, they're putting a modern spin or modern mentality to a vintage song. Now, this is something that is not very wise to do. I don't think. Is my audio here hot enough? This is something that's not wise to do. I don't think, and I say that because also same thing in the Bible. Same thing with the Bible is like a lot of things that people say in the Bible, they're like, oh, well, you can't do this because it's in the Bible, says you shouldn't do it. Well, guess what? Times were fucking different then. It's a different thing. Times were different. So here is my. Oh, before we start that, let's do this. I'm gonna read these lyrics. I'm gonna just go down this and read the lyrics and just reading it and try to think that this is in the 40s. This song was released in the early 40s, and it's not what everybody. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that yet. Check this out. Okay. I really can't stay, she says. But baby, it's cold outside. I've got to go away. But baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been blah, blah, blah. So very nice. My mother will start to worry. My father will be pacing the floor. So really, I'd better scurry, but maybe just half a drink more. So this is the thing. This girl is in this song. I'm sorry. I know how y'all work. This girl is fishing for him to say, but baby, it's cold outside. And that's all she wants. She wants a reason to stay. She's looking for a reason to stay. I mean, so very nice. I'll hold your hands. They're just like ice. See, she wants a reason to hang around this guy. She wants to stay. She's looking for a reason. She keeps saying, oh, but this, but this, but this. But maybe just a half a drink more. Put some records on while I pour. It's so. I'm sorry. This is my favorite Christmas song. This is, or you know what I mean. It's not a Christmas song. This is my favorite winter song because of Elf, by the way. Because I'm desperately in love with Zooey Deschanel. Zoe, I love you, baby. So the neighbors might think, baby, it's bad out there. So what's in this drink? And no cabs to be had out there. So he already knows. See, this is where it turns. Okay, I'll switch up a little bit. This is where it turns just a touch. The neighbors might think, baby, it's bad out there. So what's in this drink? No cabs to be had out there. I wish I knew how. Your eyes are starlit now to break this spell. I'll take your hat. Your hair looks swell. So he's already trying to undress her from the top. Now, this is saying trying to undress her. This is obviously the 40s. Listen, she's like, I ought to say no, and then he's like, mind if I move in closer? At least I'm going to say that I tried. What's the sense in hurting my pride? So obviously, he's like, listen, why did you want to put me through this? Like, you're giving me all the signs that tell me you want to stay. Like, because obviously you haven't left yet. And I don't know if in the 40s, maybe it was just a rude thing to walk out on somebody like that who's trying to pitch some woo to you or whatever have you. I don't know the rules of this game. Anyway, here's where it gets a little more. I think this verse is what bothers all of the modern mindset people on this. I simply must go. Baby, it's cold outside. The answer is no. Repeat. Your welcome has been so nice and warm. And the whole time he's like, okay, he's making like look at the windows in the storm. My sister will be suspicious. He goes, God, your lips look delicious. My brother will be there at the door, waves upon the tropical shore. My maiden aunt's mind is vicious, lips delicious again, but maybe just a cigarette more. See, this is the thing. Is he really talking her into this throughout this situation? Is this what's happening? Or is she literally just like, I don't know. Is she fishing for this, or is he talking her into it? See, I don't know where this is. No matter whether this is a modern mindset or a old school mindset, this is like, I don't know, man. It seems like they're both playing this game. Have y'all seen the video of the guy who's snoring and it sounds like he's hitting a tennis ball, and the dudes are like with badminton rackets and they're doing it back and forth? It looks like that's what they're doing. It looks like they're just hitting the ball back and forth. This is not going to happen. But a man obviously wants to be challenged. A man is always gonna, if you challenge one of us, that is a surefire way that we're gonna, roll up our sleeves and get ready to throw down. And I say throw down, that means that we're gonna battle with this thing. We're gonna see who's gonna win this challenge. So she says, I really can't stay. And he's like, oh, but sure you can. Why not? I've got to go away. Oh, but sure you can. Just hang out for a little bit. This evening has been, oh, listen, I was hoping you'd be by. And she's like, oh, this is nice. Oh, but your hands are freezing. Let me hold them. My mother will start to worry. So, oh, why are you in such a hurry? Come on, hang out. My father will be pacing the floor. Oh, look at that fireplace. It's going hard. No pun intended. So really, I think I'd better scurry. Oh, don't hurry off, but maybe just a half a drink more. Oh, put some records on. I got the drinks. So he knows right then that he is in. Here's the thing. In this day and age, if it is a woman who is in a situation to where she doesn't want to be in that situation, would she not just leave? Now, and I understand that there's a lot of folks out there who would say, hey, this woman doesn't want to feel, she doesn't want to, or hold on. I want to make sure I say this right so that I don't take any heat. And I'm asking the ladies out there, do you feel like if you're in a situation like this, do you feel just the pressure of this guy saying, baby, it's cold outside, or just don't leave, just hang out here? Do you feel like that is objectifying you in any way? Or is that just a guy being a guy? And of course, I understand that there's a lot of people out there who would take just a dude being a dude as being objectifying. And I understand that 100%. Like I get where we are today. But is this her saying, I can't leave, or I don't want to do this, I'm ready to go, but then maybe I'll have maybe just a half a drink more. Once he hears maybe just a half a drink more, that's like when you're watching boxing, and I'm not going to go into the Wilder Fury thing, but that's like if you're boxing and you hit this dude and you see his head wobble a little bit, you know that you're getting this guy. You know that you're getting into the point where you could take this dude out. You can knock him out. This is, and that's probably a horrible analogy, but sorry about that. But still, this dude, once he hears her, but maybe just a half a drink more, he knows that's his end. He's like, okay, so she does want to stay. She's just playing this game with me, which is possibly Austin said something to that effect on Scott Mann's comment on Smitty's post, actually. And it's like, okay, so this is the sort of thing that was going around back then. This is what people did. They would fool around, verbally and just play these games. And obviously the world wasn't what it is today back then. So to listen to it, like if obviously fucking Bill Cosby was singing this song, it'd be a lot different. Like, put some records on while I pour. It's like, I don't trust you, Bill. But I do understand why folks would think that this song is very rapey. As a matter of fact, I I have a bit that I've written down in my phone, and it's really like if you listen to that song today, like and like I said, it's my favorite winter themed song because of Elf and Zoe Deschanel. Like, don't read anything into he's a Kelsey is all into taking advantage of girls and everything because this song that he likes, I know it because of this song. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Listen, the reason I like this song is because of Elf and Zoe Deschanel. I apologize for whatever that may mean, but listen, don't bring Leon Redbone in it. And I think Dean Martin actually wrote the song, from what this thing says. Or not wrote it, but recorded it. Anyway, that's beside the point. So I do understand, like it is if you think about it in the last few years and all the things that have been going on, it's kind of rapey. But at what point do we just, all right, for instance, in 20 to 30 years, when this whole awakening of I matter too, or this is not cool. I don't appreciate the way that you treated me. I don't appreciate the things that you did and objectified me from a woman's standpoint. At what point are we gonna be banning all of the songs that literally only objectify women? And I know that I'm sort of I'm sort of plagiarizing a little bit from comments that I've read on all of these posts that people have made regarding this song. But a lot of rap music is constantly just objectifying. And it's not even just it's not just the men, guys. My neck, my back. Have you not heard that song? Tell me if this shit swings both ways. If this door swings both ways, guys, it's got to swing all the way, both sides. So what up, Justin? Subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you, homie. So anyway, like everybody, I think, is just being a little uptight on all of these situations and all of this. I think all of this stuff could be solved if everybody just steps back and looks at the actual meaning of this song. A lot of people don't understand, this Elf really did put this song on the forefront for a lot of people in modern days. And it's just a song, and it's an innocent song at least. At the least, this is an innocent song. You think about things that came, this was in 1940 something, and okay, think about what came out 20 years later. I Want to Hold Your Hand. Or She Was Just 17. Like, obviously, She Was Just 17 was something that was acceptable back then because these kids were 18 or 19 when the Beatles released that. Or I Want to Hold Your Hand. That's how guys said the things that everybody are just, they take all of the curtains away. There's no more curtain. And I'm a fan of the curtain. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, I mean that there is beauty in saying, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. That's, in other words, hold my hand. Come on, Frankie. We all knew what Frankie meant, but he didn't say it. He didn't say it, so you don't know what he meant, which is also in the same vein that a man, and a lot of people might not agree with me on this, I think that a female is more attractive clothed than unclothed because of the imagination that you have. You don't know what is going on there, so it is all left to the imagination. The same, and that might not have been the best analogy either, but sue me, who cares? But here's the thing. If you take away if you take the curtain away, you take the curtain away and you see everything that goes on, then is the magic just not there anymore and it's just not fun? And is taking the curtain away part of why we need to even have this conversation right now about this song? Is it because there's so many people who have oh, so that's what he meant when he's saying, baby, it's cold outside, and, he wants this girl to stay and fuck? Is that what they're talking about? Who knows? And listen, what the deal is is there are too many people who just want to bring light to their situation and bring awareness to something that they feel strongly about, which I'm completely on the side of. I understand that there are a lot of people who want to bring awareness to things that need, and I'm not saying that it does not need to happen. There absolutely does need to be awareness when you're talking about things like rape or objectifying or a female being, and not just a female, anybody. It's 2005 now. Everything's different. So anybody who's different, or any person who is objectified or put in a situation they do not want to be in, should not have to remain in that situation despite any person trying to convince them so or not. So is this the kind of thing that we need to or hold on, let me back up a little bit. I kind of lost where I was at for a second, but I got it now. So I'm all about people bringing awareness to not be objectified or not be put in a potential harmful situation for him or her. But at what point are we going to start pointing this giant spotlight at what the real problem is, rather than just picking off things that have been around for years? And is the argument here? Here's a question for somebody who is for the song to be taken off the radio. Is the argument that this song could maybe put the wrong idea in the mind of a child these days, or of a person or of a modern man? Is the idea that maybe this puts the idea in his mind that something can, if you're not getting what you want out of a situation, you can just slowly be persistent and just get what you want out of a situation? And two, I'm not going to say that. Fuck it, I'm going to say it. Okay, and two is, I'm sorry, I'm not going to act like I'm not part of the world. I do spend a lot of time alone by myself at the house, but when I do go out into the community down here, into the bar world, into the outside world, I see a lot of, girls do not come straight out and say what they mean. They want you to fish for certain situations. They want you to fish for things. They don't want to come straight out and say, hey, this is what I want to do, and I want you to be a part of it. That's not how this works. They make you play this game. And y'all know you do it. Don't act like you don't. I know my listener base is mostly males, but there's a lot of girls that listen too. Talk to me. Tell me if I have this right or wrong. Like, talk to me. Let me know. Y'all know y'all play those games. Y'all know y'all like, if you're fishing for something, and then you know what? If the dude ends up like being somebody, and I end up being the person that's on that side most of the time. I'm a very naive person. I can't tell if somebody likes me or not or whatever. I'm a naive person. I truly am. I have no problem admitting that, and a lot of people who are close to me know that. And I because I'm very vocal about that. I've even done a podcast episode about it. I don't know what they mean, because I think that when somebody says, hey, I want to hang out and come over and check out the podcast studio, I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, come by, swing by. Let's check out the podcast studio. So they show up, and I'm like, okay, so here's the studio. So, and then maybe they'll leave with a thought like, dude, he really had no idea what I meant by check out the podcast studio. And I was like, you know what? How about say what you mean? Because I'm one of those people that doesn't want to get caught up in a shit situation that everybody's ending up getting caught in these days. By the way, I said in that one podcast that I did about this particular subject that in 20 or 30 years, when all the shit's hitting the fan and everybody's getting called out for being indelicate to women and objectifying and all that shit, guess who's going to have a clean record? Anyway, that's beside the point. Y'all know y'all play games. Y'all know that you're not going to come straight out and say what it is that you want. But we want to be I want to make sure I say this right. So give me a second. Y'all do know you play games, but you don't want to be the one who says, oh, well, you don't want to be the one who says, oh, this dude just came on to me. I didn't like it. I didn't feel comfortable, and it was just misogynistic. It was just awful. It was terrible. I don't like the way that he made me feel by assuming that I was over there for sex rather than to check out the podcast studio or whatever have you. I don't want no part in that. I don't want to have no part in that. But if a person doesn't do that, you're like, oh man, he was a bitch. He's just a bitch. He don't know what which way's up. He don't know what's going on. So which would you rather be? Would you rather be the person who's objectifying somebody? Because you're losing either way. And that is the problem with this situation, is that it's not about what the song says. It's about winning. It's about my side's better than your side. It's about my side wins. And I'm the world's worst in that. I'm a competitive person. I was raised in competitions. I was raised doing things like that. I'm a competitive person. I can't help it. But there are certain situations that are different. If we're talking about the kind of situation like me and Smitty and Adam getting arguments all the time, and when we get in arguments all the time, and they can act like they don't, but they want to win too. And everybody else does. Everybody else does the same thing. We all want to win because that's what we want to do. Shit, we watch football. We want to win. You don't want your team to lose. By the way, Roll Tide. We don't want your team to lose. You want to win. That's what this whole situation is about. This song, I guarantee you that it could be any song. It doesn't matter. And the radio station, whichever radio station decided to ban the song, you know what they did? They got a shitload of free press for their radio station because of it. And that DJ, whoever it is, he's pulling a lot of positive energy from a lot of places and a lot of negative energy from places. But the fact is that he's pulling energy. It doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. There's no such thing as bad press, there, so to speak, which I disagree with. There's a such thing as bad press, but it's still press. It's still bringing your argument to the forefront. And the thing that I hate about it is, why the fuck was it just not, hey, did you hear about that song, Baby It's Cold Outside? Oh, I love that song, man. That song was an elf. Yeah, did you hear that they took that thing off of the radio in Cincinnati, I think it was. Was it Cincinnati? Somebody watching, let me know. Is it, anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They took that thing off the radio. Like, oh, man, that's a bummer. I hate that song. Why'd they take it off? Oh, because it's kind of rapey. Well, it kind of is. And it is kind of rapey. I'm sorry, it is. But Kelly Tate, let me read what Kelly wrote here. Hold on a second. Give me a second to search this out. Kelly wrote this thing that I shared the other day, and from a female standpoint on this song, it's really interesting to hear her take, and she kind of reversed it around to the sort of people who are usually putting this thing on the forefront to call their bluff, so to speak. Where is this? Okay, here we go. She says, and here Kelly, I'm gonna give you credit for this. What's really interesting about this nonsense is that certain people think it's rapey, quote unquote, when in all actuality, the tension in the song comes from her own desire to stay and society's expectations that she'll go. Very true. And his repeated refrain, baby, it's cold outside, is offering her the excuses she needs to stay without guilt because her words are all based around other people's expectations of her. So in reality, the people protesting and offended by this song are slut shaming. And isn't that the opposite of progressive and exactly what we don't want to do? I couldn't have said it better myself. I literally couldn't have. And I shared her and gave her credit for that. But still, she's right. So pick one. What do you want us to do now? What is it that we're supposed to do? Are we supposed to take this song off the radio because it's a rapey vibe? Or are we supposed to look at this thing as, okay, this girl was trying to look for a reason. She was trying to figure out if this guy was quote unquote man enough to convince her to stay. Ladies, I love you. You know I do. I say it all the time. I love you, ladies. But listen, this is absolutely true. This is accurate. This is something that we deal with. Or are you just trying to play the game? See, this dude is man enough. See if this dude's man enough to convince me to stay because that's what you want. And then whenever she's like, okay, I really can't stay, but baby, it's cold outside. I've got to go away, but baby, it's cold outside. This evening has been so very nice. I'll hold your hand. They're just like ice. At this point, when she says, at the point she's like, I really must go, the answer is no. When she says the answer is no, and then you're like, okay, I'm done. All right, you say no. I don't want to be the kind of person that ends up in the news next week. I don't want to be Aziz Ansari. I'm sorry. I don't want this to happen to me when I've done absolutely nothing wrong. I'm just going to bow out. Then this dude is oh, well, he wasn't man enough to hang around. He couldn't handle it. That's how you guys react, and you lying ass if you tell me that's not how you react. You lying ass if you tell me that's not how you do. You know that's what y'all do, ladies. I'm sorry, I love you. You know, you know I do. But still, what does this whole situation is awfully confusing for me. I don't understand at this point what kind of person you're supposed to be. If you are the kind of person who says, "Oh, this song is rapey," and I don't agree with what it says, then like I said before, that's fine. I'm on that page too. I do believe the song sounds awful rapey, but that's me listening to it with today's ears. But thankfully, I'm the kind of person who can look back and say, okay, this is case in point. There's a scene in Cheers. I just recently watched Cheers. There's a scene in Cheers where Sam and Diane are slapping each other. He slaps her and she slaps him back. And then he slaps her again and she slaps him again. And they're just slapping each other in this scene. And everybody's laughing about it. That shit will not fly today. But you don't hear anybody out there talking about taking Cheers off the air, do you? You don't hear anybody out there talking about taking Cheers off of Netflix or whatever. Now, you might now because we're bringing it up. But still, you don't hear shit like that. At what point is enough in this situation to where we're like, okay, I could take this off, but if I take this off, I'm also going to have to take this off because they're basically the same, right? Well, no, it's not right. It's because it's like, no, it's not all right. It's just, you have to not be biased on this situation. You have to be able to see through what everything else is. You have to be able to see through, okay, this person is saying this about this song. What other songs do now we have to take off? So now you're going to listen through every catalog of every artist of all time and say, okay, this is okay, this is okay, this has to go, but this can stay. When do we get to that point? When do we get to the point to where we're you've got somebody who's now being paid X amount of dollars to listen to this artist's discography to decide whether or not a song that is in their catalog gets to stay or not because it's objectifying. I don't know. Either way, the song is it's a it's a good song. It seems innocent enough to me if you think of it in the context in which it was written. If you think of it in the context of how the world is today and how everything is just so much different, then yeah, it's rapey and it's inappropriate. But how do we get, I mean, how do we decide? How do we decide which of those is more important? How do we decide whether we take something as, okay, well, times were different back then? Like when somebody says, "Oh, this song sounds kind of rapey," or "This song sounds kind of bad," then that opens the door for you to say, well, you know, things were different back then. You know, we've had a lot of advancements in this country for a long time, and now this sort of situation is not as acceptable as it used to be, but this is how things used to be. And you know, you can look at the where the world is now and where the country is now, and you know, people are able to do things and protect themselves from situations like this, and that just wasn't the case back then. You make it a learning opportunity. Take the opportunity to teach somebody something about this. I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm rambling now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. But anyway, my overall take on this song is it's still my favorite winter song, and I say this because I'll say one more time. When I heard Zooey Deschanel do this song in Elf with Will Ferrell, I fell in love with the song, and I'll even go a little bit further than that. When my Aunt Marie, you guys have heard me talk about my Aunt Marie. I loved my Aunt Marie. She was the best person I've ever known. When she started getting sick, there towards the end, they had opened up this new movie theater in North Carolina. I think it was Pineville, maybe in North Carolina. It was an awesome movie theater, and one of the last things that we did, all as a family, was all of us, like I mean 10 of us, a dozen, almost, I'm pretty sure it was a shitload of us. I think it might have been a multiple car trip. We went to the movies in Pineville with my Aunt Marie and my granny and my dad and all my sisters and our parents and my stepmom. All of us went. My parents and sisters, all of us. And we went and saw Elf. And I guess that might be one of the reasons why that song is so near and dear to my heart, because it's one of the better scenes in that movie is a buddy, an elf, who is completely innocent, knows nothing about being inappropriate, or knows nothing about objectifying or putting a woman in an odd situation. He knows nothing about this. He is a naive elf. And this woman is singing in the shower, and he's singing with her this song. And it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's because you finally realize that these two people who seem to be so alone in a world that's made for everybody else but them, it seems. In this one moment in the movie, it shows that they are connected with something, whether it's this song, or she likes to sing, or she doesn't let anybody know she likes to sing, or whatever it is. That was a pivotal moment in that movie, and I love that scene, and I love that song because of that scene in that movie. And that it may be because that's one of the last really, happy memories that I have when she was still able to get up and go do things and drive, and go a couple hours over just to watch a movie. And maybe that's why this song has a special place in my heart. But and I thought about that the other day. I went to watch Elf, and I started thinking about that, and I got a little emotional with it, and I watched The Grinch instead. And then I started crying even more in The Grinch. Christmas got me. But a little Cindy Lou Who. But But yeah, I think that's why that song is so near and dear to my heart. And I say that because yes, this song has some questionable things that go on in it, and I don't know how I feel about just pulling the plug on this song because of how people perceive it. But I do not believe that it meant the same thing when it was written as it is being interpreted today. I just don't believe that it meant the same thing because people weren't. The curtain was still up back then. The curtain was still there, and I'm a fan of the curtain. So, all right, that's all I got for you. Things to watch. So check this out. If you were into comedy, especially if you were into off-collar comedy, if you're into the kind of things that may be pegged as inappropriate, and this is probably not the best episode to pitch this, but I'm going to do it anyway. If you're into comedy that is like borderline inappropriate and roast comedy, like Jeff Ross and Dave Attell. If you're not familiar with Jeff Ross, you get out of the rock you're under, because he's done every roast over the last decade and a half. Jeff's been the roast master over all of these things. And Dave Attell is arguably one of the greatest stand-up comedians of all time. And I just recently learned that because every comedian that I hear, they've got this show on Netflix called Bumping Mics. And watch it. Bumping Mics on Netflix is absolutely hilarious. There's only 3 episodes, so it's easy to watch. It's quick. They're going to be doing more of them. But Dave Attell has been going on a lot of different podcasts and a lot of different interviews with a lot of comedians who are just praising him in the highest honor, as to saying that he is one of the he is on a lot of people's Rushmore, is what I'm saying. And I wasn't aware of that, but he is literally one of the funniest people in the world. And anytime you listen to a podcast with him and 2 other comedians, the 2 other comedians are rolling in the floor laughing the entire time because he's just absolutely ridiculous. By the way, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast the other day, Dave Attell and Jeff Ross. Watch that episode. But anyway, watch Bumping Mics. That's on Netflix. There was something else that I watched that was really awesome. Oh, if you're into history at all, if you are at any way a history buff, Ken Burns does the best documentaries, period. But I watched the Ken Burns documentary on the Civil War, and there was just so much more that went on in that I wasn't aware of, and that was really good. I watched that. But shit, there was totally something else that I watched that I cannot for the life of me remember. Oh, well, we got more time. We're going to be releasing more content. Let me get out of here before the song runs out. So Zach Williams is going to be giving me a call tomorrow night around the 10 o'clock hour. Going to be releasing a special episode tomorrow on an off day. And today's episode, obviously on an off day. And we'll be doing Wednesday on schedule as usual. I'm trying to get Seth Funderburk lined up to get in here, and that is definitely going to be happening pretty soon. So we're going to be getting an episode every day until Thursday, and maybe we'll be doing a sports talk again. And obviously the Merle's on Mondays. Monday is not the best day to get people all involved in for Tito's, and we're going to be doing the Merle's Inlet podcast soon. And going to get Wes Standish involved in that. I'm actually just going to get Wes involved in an actual episode, get him in the studio here for a little while. But that's going to be happening soon. Just stay up to date with that. Yeah, all right. So for YouTube people, stay tuned for all my plugs in a second in the intro. And for audio people, you've already heard all of them in the beginning. So there's that. All right. Be good people. In a world full of shitty people, don't be one of those people. Be a good person. Be good. Be good. All right. Love you. Mean it. Peace, bitches. Hey, how you doing? Oh, we got to do that again. YouTube. Watch this. Hey, guys. How you living? You doing well? Good. I just did that one wrong for the first time in a really long time. I usually nail that one every time. I say it the same way every time. Anyway, So in this episode, I talked about Baby It's Cold Outside. And I sort of stole a little bit of things that everybody else said and brought other people's opinions into this situation. And I gave my take on this whole Baby It's Cold Outside deal. So that's the hottest topic that's going on now. And I try my damnedest to not up my views or up my listens by just plugging a hot topic. But this time I did, so sue me. I'll be a shill. Who cares? Please, one of my, and I can't believe I made it through the entire episode and didn't mention this. One of the Pawleys Island and Murrells Inlet great humans, Brother Jack Baldwin, lost his life in a car accident yesterday, and it just literally ripped the heart out of Pawleys Island and Murrells Inlet area. He was a staple in this area. For those of y'all who do not know, Jack worked for Creekside Cabs for years and then started his own cab company and just for so many years was a person who drove around and kept a lot of people alive by not allowing them to drink and drive. And just a heart of gold, absolute heart of gold. I have shared on my Kelsey Hudgens Facebook page a link page. I will also share that on the podcast page so that you guys can check that out and donate if you feel so inclined. And don't even worry about the GoFundMe or the Patreon stuff that I'm sharing. Donate to Jack to help his family at this terrible time in our community's life. So, R.I.P. Brother Jack. Seeing that big tree house in the sky. Anyway, go to the Facebook page, go to the YouTube page, go to the Instagram page, go to Twitter, all of these fronts, Patreon, all of these fronts. Got a whole lot of new stuff coming out. Got a whole lot of cool shit going on. The fishing show is going into the next level of planning. So going to be having a lot of shit going down with the fishing show. And I'm going to put a link to that channel up at the end of this podcast or at the end of this intro. So YouTube people stay tuned for that. Let's see. What else do we got? December is a very slow month for cornbread, which is totally fine with me because I'm give out basically, and I need some time off. So, pretty much got just about the whole month of December off, minus about 5 or 6 gigs. Needed that pretty badly. So that's happening this week. Come to Dead Dog Thursday night. Me and Smitty will be doing a duo at Dead Dog, and then Friday, I've got the Brass Tap, and Saturday, I've got Strong Water solo, both of those, so come check those out. I think that's all I got for you. Watch Bumping Mics on Netflix, the Dave Attell and Jeff Ross. Watch that. Watch the Civil War, Ken Burns documentary. I think that's all I got. All right, guys. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. Be good, people. I love you. Enjoy. Peace, bitches. All right. All right, guys. Click the links at the bottom of the page. Click the one with my stuff on it. Subscribe. Click the video that I'm suggesting, and also click the fishing show. Click the fishing show link as well. Subscribe to all those channels. Be good people. I love you. I mean it. Don't be a shitty person.